All right, welcome back again to Igbo Forest. So please, if this is your first time of coming across my video or watching my video, please, I want you to do me a favor, like and subscribe, drop your comment on. So without wasting much of time, today I want to briefly share with you what I'm currently looking at. So today, what I want to really share with you here is Cebu. But before we go to the analysis, I want to quickly explain what I'm currently looking at and the reason why I just want to share this analysis with you. So this is DXY. So first of all, basically, I want to share why I carried out my analysis on the DXY and what are the influence that DXY really has when it comes to the forex market. So when it comes to the DXY, first of all, basically DXY tells us the strength of the US dollar. So really once that's the basic function of the DXY, we want to be able to know the strength and the weakness of the US dollar in relation to every other pair. So once you be able to figure out the direction that the DXY is trending up, if the direction of the DXY is pushing to the upside, that's in other words, it means that the US dollar is being strengthened against every other pair, meaning other pairs will drop. This which is GBP USD, Euro USD will drop. If the DXY is trending to the downside, meaning the US dollar is weakening, meaning every other pair like GBP USD, Euro USD, USD related pair will, like if it's pushing to the downside, we push, which is the inverse, we push to the upside. So I want to briefly share the analysis of DXY to you and the influence that is currently having in the market. So that's the essence of me coming to here. So basically, it's still the same analysis process. The first thing you want to do here is once you come to the chart is to go to the higher time frame to be able to figure out the exact direction or the current market direction, the strength, the direction, the momentum of the market is really in. So once you're on the weekly time frame, what I want to figure out here, you can see that the market is a bit consolidating here, but what I want to really focus on here is the current market price. So what we can see here, not paying much attention, like paying attention to this consolidation here also. What we are here, we have this massive bullish push. Once during this period, which is indicate that the DXY is pushing to the other. This is a strength in the US dollar. I mean, every other pair, once the US dollar is being strengthened, other pair will drop, which is the inverse. Now, once we have this bullish push on the DXY, what we have a consolidation here. After that, we had a drop, a massive drop. This is a bearish move. This bearish move indicate that the DXY, which is US dollar, is weakening. So every other pair will push to the upside. So what my basic focus now here is the current market price. What is really happening in the market? What is the US dollar is currently doing? So now what we can see here, what I want to point out here is once we have this massive drop on the DXY, what we have here, this is more like what I'm currently pointing at here. This is more like a reversal, which is a push to the upside. Now this is not a complete, now this look like, most of the time if you are reading candlestick pattern, this look like more like a morning star, but the confirmation candle is still, since we're on the weekly time frame, the confirmation candle have not really closed. Before we can say this is a morning star, which is a bullish reversal, we need this candle to close. Now, I'm not here to analyze candlestick pattern, but I just want to show like confluence, which can really tell you that the market is the exact direction the market is. Overall now the market is consolidated, but since we are on the higher time frame, we can see narrow down to really know exact direction the market is pushing to. Now after this massive drop, so without wasting much of our time, we had this massive bearish drop to the downside altogether. Once we have this massive drop, so what is currently happening is this market pushing to the downside. Is it going to continue pushing to the downside, or is it giving us any pattern that is going to push to the upside altogether? Let me come again. We have a massive drop here. Now once we have this massive, what do we expect from it? We expect the market to keep the bearish move, but here about it, we have a doji candle here, and we have this bullish candle that is still in progress, almost engulfing this doji candle here. So what is this pattern actually telling us in the market? What is currently happening? If we're able to analyze that, be able to figure that this market is reversed already reversed from this bearish mode, indicate that the US dollar has been strengthened. If the US dollar has been strengthened, meaning every other pair, which is GBP USD, Euro USD, every other USD related pair, will definitely going to drop to the downside, which is the inverse. So that's why I said I want to closely analyze what is currently happening in the market of USD, which is DXY. So without wasting much of our time, what I want to focus here, our current focus will be on this move here. This is our current focus. This is where I want to pay attention to. So what is exactly happening at this region? First, we have this massive drop and this. So the next thing I want to do here, since we have this pattern here, the weekly time frame is telling us that, oh, this market is coming for a bullish reversal. So based on that, we are going to gradually scale down to the lower time frame to see exactly how the market is really building up in form of structure. So let's go to the daily time frame. So all right, hold on. Okay, this is the daily time frame. So I already have few markup here already. So as we gradually scale down, as we analyze what I'm going to point out the essence of me putting those markup there and what I'm really expecting from the market. So what we can see here is we have this was the bullish push to the upside. If you are looking at the weekly time frame, this was after this bullish push to the upside, this is a bearish move. So I said this is our focus. This is our focus. Alright, so as I've said earlier, so this is our major focus in the market. Now what do we expect? Once we figure out that the market is trending down, now we have this massive bearish move. So what the actual flow, now what do we expect? We expect a continuous breakdown, continuous structural break, lower low, lower high, lower low, to be forming on a chart to indicate that the market is pushing to the upside. All together. So the only time we can tell that, okay, this market is coming for a reversal is when price come and break above the recent lower high. Once you add a break here, as I explained this on my previous video, this is a shift in market. So once you add a break, once price came and break above this, this indicates that the market has shift structure. What do we anticipate? We anticipate a pullback here before an aggressive push. This indicates that the market is pushing to the upside again. So for us to like a market that is trending down, continuously trending down, we expect continuous break or structure to the downside. But closely observing this, hold on. So from the daily time frame on the DXY, what are we really seeing here? The structure is not really clear here. So we still have a linear push to the downside before we have this kind of bullish push there. So the structure is not really a bit clear, but what you can see here, this is more like giving us the structure we look at from the weekly time in a more broader view. So we are going to scale down to the lower time frame again. So let's go to the 4 hour. Let me remove this box here. Hold on. So here is the 4 hour. So what we expect from the market was, as I've said earlier, market will never move linearly. Market moves in terms of structure. So what we have here is market, we have this high, this low, we have this we have this massive drop of price to the downside, which create a spillage, a gap to this downside. We had a push, a drop. So what we expect in a downward structure, we expect a continuous break or structure, retracement, a break or structure, retracement, break or structure, to signal a continuation of the bearish move. But what we have here is quite different. We have a different scenario entirely. So what we have here is we have this low. Once you have this push, after this spillage, you have this drop, you have this massive drop of price to this low. This was the recent low that price created. Hold on. We had this. So market still drop down to this level. So what do we now closely examine this structure here? What do we expect from the market? We expect the market to keep on making a bearish move. But what we had this creates something seem like a double bottom here. But we had this recession from this weak recession to the upside. So what we can all right, so what we are here, we have this drop. Once we have this drop here, what you can see here, this is a bit of correctional pattern here. If you closely observe, so once we had this drop here, this was the low, we had a push. This push is not really significant. Now, what we anticipate after a massive drop of price, we expect we expect a significant push to the upside, to maybe probably a level of supply before a drop. But what we had here is hold on. What we had here is once you had this low here, price came, failed to make a significant push. We had a low, a drop, which is a slight break below this recent low. We had a push, make a relative equal top here before a drop. Now this drop here is just a weak. We just had a weak, fail to close below this structural low. So this is a signal that the market is the bulls are stepping in, that the buyers are taking over. So we after this bullish spike, we had this break of structure to the upside. So the first break of structure to the upside, which refers to as a shift in market structure. After a shift in market, what do we anticipate for? We anticipate for a retracement, which is a pullback to a significant level. So now we are on the 4-hour time frame. So what we can see here, this is a signal that the market, the DXY is coming for a bullish push to the upside. So we can see the structural up, how the structure is being built up. So we had we have the second break of structure here. We had this break, the retracement, a push up. Now this whole structure is telling that the DXY is going for a bullish move. So this indicates that this is not just only, now this is telling that the DXY is pushing to the upside. So what this symbolizes, that meaning every other pair, which is USD related pair, will drop, meaning the DXY is being strengthened, US dollar is strengthened, so every other pair is going to drop. So before we can conclude that USD related pair will drop, we still need to closely examine the flow. Now this is how the market, once we had a break or structure, now the market, as I've said earlier, the market will never move linearly. So that as the market DXY is, hold on, the market will not move linearly to the upside. As DXY is progressing to the upside in more structure, which you have this low, high, low, we had a break of structure. Now the overall structure, the overall direction is bullish, but at a point in time, once it breaks structure, what do we anticipate? We anticipate a retracement. So once the price retraces at this DXY retrace here, which is a minor bearish push, the other pair will progress to the upside. But the overall movement is to the upside, to the downside. So that's why we need to closely examine, closely analyze the pair to be able to figure out the exact direction. So once we're able to figure out the direction, what are we expecting from the DXY? Now we're expecting a retracement. So that's why I said let me quickly share this with you for us to really understand what we are doing in the market. So the DXY overall movement is pushing to the upside for now. So we should be expecting more offset from other related pairs. So without wasting much, I'll quickly look at the Euro USD